The feeder to Building C is considered to serve as conduits according to the National Electrical Code. This is because it supplies the electrical power to the building from the service equipment, specifically the switchboard, located in Building A, and it is not a branch circuit but rather a main feeder that supplies a group of outlets. As for routing the feeder to Building C cannot be routed through Buildings A and B. The NEC requires that service conductors be installed in a raceway that is dedicated to that specific service. This is detailed in Article 230.15 of the National Electrical Code. This section specifies that conductors for services must be installed in one raceway, and this raceway should not contain conductors of other circuits. There are some exceptions to this rule, as permitted by sections 300.3b, which addresses multi-wire branch circuits, and 300.5e, which covers parallel conductors. However, in general, the feeder to Building C must be installed in its own raceway. This raceway must run directly from the switchboard in Building A to Building C, without passing through Building B. To elaborate further on the requirements for service conductors and raceways, firstly, according to the NEC, service conductors are the wires that bring electricity from the utility company's transformer to the building service equipment. This service equipment is usually the main switchboard or panel board. Secondly, a raceway is a channel designed and used expressly for holding wires, cables, or bus bars. Raceways can be rigid metal conduit, intermediate metal conduit, electrical metallic tubing, rigid non-metallic conduit, and other approved materials. The requirement for a dedicated raceway for service conductors is intended to provide a level of safety and reliability. By isolating the service conductors from other circuits, the risk of faults and fires is reduced. It also makes it easier to identify and maintain the service conductors. When installing a feeder, consider the following points. Point 1. The size of the conductors must be adequate for the load they will carry. This is determined by calculating the total load of the building being served and then selecting conductors with sufficient ampacity. Point 2. The conductors must be protected from overcurrent with fuses or circuit breakers. The size of the overcurrent protection device must be matched to the ampacity of the conductors. Point 3. The raceway must be properly grounded and bonded. This is to provide a path for fault current to return to the source, which will trip the overcurrent protection device and energize the circuit. Point 4. The installation must comply with all applicable codes and standards. This includes the NEC, as well as any local codes or regulations. In the situation described, where buildings A, B, and C are structurally connected and under single ownership, but only building A has a utility meter, the electrical distribution system must be carefully designed and installed to comply with the NEC. Since Building C is fed from Building A and Building B is fed from Building C, the feeders must be treated as service conductors up to the first point of overcurrent protection in each building. This means that the feeder from Building A to Building C must be installed in a dedicated raceway, and the feeder from Building C to Building B must also be installed in a dedicated raceway. The exception to the rule about not routing service conductors through other buildings is usually only applicable when the buildings are under single management, and specific conditions are met, such as adequate overcurrent protection and proper installation methods. However, in this case, because the answer is that the feeder to Building C cannot be routed through Buildings A and B, the general rule of dedicated raceways applies. In addition to the requirements for raceways, the NEC also has specific requirements for the location of service equipment. Generally, service equipment must be located as close as practical to the point where the service conductors enter the building. This is to minimize the length of unprotected service conductors inside the building. Service equipment must also be readily accessible for maintenance and repair. When planning the electrical distribution system for multiple buildings, it's also important to consider the voltage drop. Voltage drop is the reduction in voltage that occurs as electricity flows through a conductor. Excessive voltage drop can cause equipment to malfunction or operate inefficiently. The NEC provides guidelines for minimizing voltage drop in branch circuits and feeders. To minimize voltage drop, the conductors should be sized large enough to carry the load without excessive voltage drop. The length of the conductors should also be kept as short as possible. In addition to the NEC, there may be other codes and standards that apply to the electrical installation. These could include local building codes, fire codes, and insurance requirements. It's important to check with the local authorities to determine which codes and standards apply in your area. Understanding the NEC requirements for service conductors and raceways is essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of electrical installations. By following these requirements, it is possible to minimize the risk of electrical hazards and ensure that the electrical system operates efficiently. Always consult with a qualified electrician or electrical engineer before beginning any electrical work. These professionals are familiar with the NEC and other applicable codes and standards, and they can help you design and install an electrical system that meets your needs and complies with all applicable requirements. Furthermore, remember that the interpretation and application of the NEC can be complex. Local jurisdictions may have their own interpretations and amendments to the code. It is always best to consult with local electrical inspectors or a qualified electrical consultant to ensure compliance with all applicable regulations. A proper understanding of these concepts ensures that the electrical installation is not only compliant with regulations but also safe and efficient, protecting property and lives.